Small update. I was able to color match the paint from the barrels with some deck paint. Now, of course, I've done a sloppy, quick job painting it and masked nothing off, so I have to come back and redo my gray. Oh, back to valve stems. This morning it was down to 68 degrees. Had quite a few barrels collapse. Yeah, I'm gonna collapse really good. A lot of people are saying just cap it off in cold weather. Down here in southeast Louisiana, it'd probably be another month and a half before we have a cold night. And I don't know if I want to wait another month and a half to pull this thing up, remove every barrel, and cap it while it's cold. I think I'm just gonna install the valve stems. I've ordered a kit that allows you to simply drill a hole. There's a special tool that goes on and you push the valve stem through and pop it back out. I'm going to put the valve stems on the inside. Put about 1 to 2 psi in them. My inspection did not go so well yesterday at Wildlife and Fisheries. I'll explain that in a minute. But boat is coming together. Work continues. I have a 6.5 foot by 7 foot 10, I believe, front deck area. This represents my wall, my front wall. And you walk into the cabin. I have an 11.5 foot cabin by 7 foot 10. This represents the rear wall, which leaves me 4 foot of deck. That's plenty room. There's actually a lot more room in here than it sounds like. 8 by 22 hull doesn't sound very big, but I'll have almost an 8 foot by 11.5 foot room. That'll leave me room for a futon, a bathroom, a little kitchen counter, and the console. Yeah, well, I had a time wanting to make the short video. I'm really liking the blue. I'm happy they were able to color match it. It's very close to the exact same color. The piece of barrel that I brought in, drop off a strap, was brighter than the barrels I used. So they matched it to that one. But I'm very happy with it. I've also got a 2-inch rope coming. That's gonna be my bumper. It's gonna be a 2-inch rope all the way around. A nylon tugboat rope. I don't have to buy bumpers. Now, oh, the Wildlife and Fisheries inspection. So, when I went to Baton Rouge, which is where our main Wildlife and Fisheries office is in Louisiana, I asked them what I need for inspection. They said you need receipts for everything. Everything has to be itemized. You know, I paid for it. It cost me $111. You know, pay for the registration, the title, and pay for the inspection in advance. So when I left Baton Rouge, I called the number they provided for a local office in my area, and it happened to be the one in Thibodaux, Louisiana, which is about 45-minute drive from where I live. So this took place a week ago. I called, no one answered, left a voicemail. Finally, I decided to call again. So someone answered. I don't remember the guy's name, but I said, "Hey, you know, my name's Nick. I just left the Baton Rouge office. I paid for a title, registration, and inspection of a homemade houseboat. I said I need to set up a date to get it inspected." And he said, "Well, do you have a trailer?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you're gonna have to bring it to us." "All right, that's not a problem." And I said, oh, he asked me if I had receipts for everything. I said I had receipts for all the lumber, the screws, and hardware. I said the only thing I don't have receipts for is the barrels. I already own the barrels. I don't have a receipt for the barrels. Is that going to be a problem? He's like, nah, we can make it work. Just bring everything you have, all your receipts. We'll get it taken care of. All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Not a problem. Well, we set an appointment for 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So I get there about 1:40. I wait in the lobby about an hour and a half. I hand him in my receipts, my driver's license, and finally, a little bit after 3, the guy comes out. You ready to do your inspections? Yes, sir. Been ready. Been waiting for this day. We go out. We look at it. He starts going through my receipts. And this guy he was thorough. He's doing his job. I mean, I didn't like the fact that he was doing that, but I appreciate the fact that he was doing his job. He starts counting 2x6s, like everything. He looks at the receipt, takes a count number, and he looks at my rub rails. He says he doesn't see this on the receipt. So that was a 2x6. And with one 2x6, I can cut 2 of these out and have a little piece of drop off. He said, well, it's not in the receipt. I said, yeah, a 2x6 is on the receipt. I said, actually, there's 5 leftover 2x6s that's on this receipt that's not accounted for. I didn't use it on the bill yet. He said, well, these pieces are not on there. They're not gonna be. They're homemade. It's 2x6 I cut out. I notched it to go over the plywood and down to the deck. I was hoping that would stop water from piling up and getting under my plywood. But anyway, that's the purpose of why I built it like that. So he's like, oh, all right. I finally got to understand. I made these pieces. You can't buy these pieces already made like this. Now, I'm not entirely sure if he was counting screws, but he was standing back, and I can see his eyes going from spot to spot to spot, all the way down one side, all the way down the other side. And he goes, he looks at the paperwork, and that's why I had to explain to him that this is it's double 2x8 capping. So there's a lot of screws you're not gonna see because this is the main frame. This is just a capping plate to add a bumper and stop flex, give it more strength. And he's like, all right, I understand that. He looked at these. I had to provide a receipt from my hardware store for 2 U-bolts, one on each side of this beam, with a 4-foot chain. The receipt shows that, but the hardware store doesn't state U-bolts. It just says miscellaneous nuts, bolts, and it says 4 times in the price, which is $259 a foot. It doesn't say it's chain. But more importantly, he told me my name needs to be on the receipt from the place I buy it from needs to print my name on the receipt, that it can't be handwritten. Now, small local hardware stores don't have the capability of doing that. The place where I bought these stainless steel washers didn't have the capability of doing that. But the place I bought the lumber had the capability. So he said 5 of my receipts out of 10 of them did not have my name on them. Because when I started building this, I didn't open an account with the lumber yard. When I built this one, when I built the last 8x20 dock, I opened an account. So now everything I buy from them is tracked and it has my name and address and phone number on the receipts. So those receipts made him happy. When it came down to the barrels, he said, I don't see the receipts for the barrels. Where'd you buy them? I said, well, these were given to me. He said, well, you have to have a receipt. I said, well, I don't have a receipt for something that was given to me. I said, how do I go about that? So you have to fill out what's called an affidavit of ownership. You fill it out. We send it off. It goes to a judge. You get a court date. You pretty much explain how you acquired the barrels, how long you had it, who you got it from, and that person's contact information. And the judge overlooks it. On the day of your court date, and if the judge decides everything looks good, then you own the barrels. Then you bring it down to the assessor's office. They assess the value of the barrels you used, and then you pay taxes on it. So, well, that's not gonna happen. These barrels new are $180 a piece. I got about 25 of them right here. 18 of them float the hull, and the rest of them are cut up for straps. I can't pay taxes on that to get paperwork. He said, well, sir, that's what's gonna have to be done, unless you can remember the name of the guy that gave them to you. You go find him, pay him a few dollars, and go get that notarized. Then go to the assessor's office and pay taxes. So today I'm meeting up with the guy I got these barrels from. We're going to a notary. We're going to put a sale price, whatever price I'm happy with. It's better than paying taxes on the value of new barrels. And I'm going to have to go to the assessor's office, pay taxes, and I got to make sure the assessor's office prints me a receipt with my name on it and taxes paid for 25 used blue plastic barrels. Pay those taxes, get that receipt, and I have to reschedule another appointment. They only do it on Mondays. Haul this thing back, 45-minute drive to Thibodeau for a final inspection. Hopefully it all passes. I asked the guy if he could finish the inspection yesterday while we were there. That way I wouldn't have to bring the boat back. He said, no sir, we can only do the inspection on the day that you are here with the vessel and all material receipts are provided. So before I leave, can you at least look it over and tell me if you see any reason why it would fail if I came back? And he said, nope, take care of these receipts. Get that notarized bill of sale, go to the assessor's office. You should be good to go. Louisiana is very difficult for boat registration, and some other states are leaning that way too. Those rules and regulations are strict and put into place because about 10 or 15 years ago, Mississippi and Louisiana had a couple of hurricanes. So the people were stealing boats from Louisiana, bringing them to Mississippi and selling them. At that time, it was easy to get what's called a salvage title or a lost title for any vessel. So they would take it from Louisiana, bring it to Mississippi, sell it for quick cash. And then when Mississippi had a storm, they were doing the same thing. They were going to Mississippi stealing boats and bringing them back to New Orleans, southeast Louisiana to sell. At that time, it was easy in Louisiana to get. You can do what's called a salvage title. That no longer exists in Louisiana because of that. Because what happened, let's say months later, another hurricane would hit, and the person who bought one of those boats, they would try to file a claim with the boat or try to get insurance on it, and they would get denied because that boat was already in a claim that it was lost for a storm. So then investigations would happen, and they would look into it and try to track down where that person got it from, and it turned out it was lost for a storm, but it was actually stolen for a storm, but the owner just filed insurance claims on it. So the HIN number on the boat, that's why it's important. Some people eventually got their boats back, some people didn't. But since then, wildlife fisheries changed the rules. It's a lot harder to get a homemade title. Everything has to be up to par. So it used to be you can take a factory haul if you didn't have papers, buy $200-300 worth of materials, fiberglass, and put it on the boat and get it inspected, and you can list any factory manufactured hull as homemade going that route. You can't do that anymore. I actually have one in my backyard. I have a 22-foot Lafitte skiff that was titled that way. It was listed as homemade. So it now has a LAZ HIN number, which is LAZ is Louisiana's manufactured number as homemade. Even though it's not a homemade, it's a 24-foot Jefferson. But somewhere along the way, someone lost the paperwork. To where today, if I try to list that as homemade, it's not going to happen because it looks like a manufactured hull. Anyway, I'm rambling like normal. I'm gonna finish some painting today, take care of the notary, go to the assessor's office, reschedule my appointment. But the main purpose of this video was to show you the layout, what's going on with it. I may pull these rails just off the deck sections off the front and the 4-foot rear and cut some scupper holes and seal this with silicone, put it back on. I may go ahead and do that today. And of course I'm gonna tape off, mask, and repaint, or while it's off I'll just paint it. I do have plans to put a cabin on it. Don't know how soon. Gotta make some more money first. You know how it goes. Can't build nothing without money. Thank y'all for viewing. Appreciate the comments. If y'all want, in the comment section, y'all can let me know y'all experience with your state's local wildlife and fisheries, the difficulty to get paperwork. It's very difficult in Louisiana. There's so many boats on Facebook Marketplace that are a real good deal, but no papers. And of course, the person selling it, well, all you got to do is send off the papers. Man, let me tell you, there ain't no such thing as just send off the papers and you're gonna get a set of papers in Louisiana. Even if you know someone, I actually know a guy that's pretty high up in the wildlife and fisheries, and I don't think he better help me get papers on a boat that has no papers. So anyway, thank y'all for watching. Any suggestions, just leave them down. I'll answer you whenever I can. Appreciate y'all.